Mukul, you wear many hats. You are an entrepreneur, a coach, and a writer. So a lot of viewers will be wondering, where do you find the time to do all these things? You must be running around, having very late nights. Is that the case?
I wish. Okay. It's a really nice question, and let me put it like this. Time or juggling different roles is never a problem, provided you do a couple of things right. Firstly, you should wear many hats. It makes life more fun and you never get bored. But please, wear them one at a time. So I wear only one hat at any one time. So when I'm putting on the coach hat, I put the others to bed. Okay? Now I may only wear it for 3 hours in a day, but at that time, I'm only present in the moment as a coach. So rule number 1, wear one hat at a time. Rule number 2, how do you manage time? So here's the trick. Break down your annual goals into bite-sized monthly goals, weekly tasks, and then daily tasks. So let's take an example. Let's say I decide that I have to write a 1,000-word chapter in a week. Okay? So I look at that week, I decide what are my other commitments. I have to give a talk in this country, I have to give a training here, coach 2 people. So I keep in mind my work schedule and then ensure that on one day I may write 3,000 words, on another day I may only write 500 words. But I will meet some part of the target on a daily basis. So if you break things down into manageable, daily bite-sized bits, then time is never a challenge.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I was watching a previous interview that you had, and in it you mentioned that sometimes having a lot of time to complete a task is not a good thing.
Yeah. Listen, the more time you give yourself, the more easy you take it. When you work, a human being is always at his or her best when they are working to pressure, when they have a deadline to meet. You ask any journalist, how much time do you need for a 400-word article? They will literally start writing 45 minutes before. Okay? So I always believe that you give yourself the right amount of time and make sure you deliver in it. You will come out with your best work when the time is tight.
So really, to maximize our time management, first thing you mentioned was to really break them down into goals and to really have small steps instead of one big step. So have small steps every day and limiting ourselves in terms of our time.
Absolutely. You know, you'd be surprised. I'm very particular. I plan time for movies. I plan time for reading. I watch movies regularly. I plan time for reading. And because I'm a very spiritual person, I plan time to go to the pub every evening and hang out with my friends. So I make sure that everything is really planned well, including R&R. And that's the only way to go, really, if you want to make the most out of life.
I think that's a very interesting definition of spiritual. Right, so what are some of the key skills that you learned in your stint in the military that really helped to transit that you could take to the civilian world? Because being from the military myself, this is something that I really wanted to know. Like, are there any skills that are really transferable to the civilian world?
So actually, there are 4 skills, and the first was taught to me by my mother. That is a strong value system. Then came my school, and then came the army. And both these fabulous institutions, they taught me 3 skills: focus, discipline, and flexibility. Unless you have focus, you're not going anywhere. Unless you have the discipline to stick to what you need to do, you're not going anywhere. And unless you're flexible and are ready to roll with the punches, because they will be coming. Whenever you set out to do something, have you heard of Murphy's Law?
Yeah.
Have you heard of O'Neill's Law? Okay, O'Neill's Law is better than Murphy's. It says Murphy was an optimist. Okay? So whenever you set out to do something, you will encounter hurdles, challenges. You will need to be flexible to be able to adapt your direction. So you need focus, you need discipline, and you need flexibility. And above all, you need a strong value system in place to make sure that you remain human.
So when you say value system, what were some of the value systems that the army equipped you with?
Okay, the army equipped me with something really fundamental. It trained me and taught me the value of speaking my mind.
Speaking your mind.
I am very clear, if a thought strikes my head and it needs to be said, I will say it. I appreciate people who talk to me directly, like straight off the bat. And I always talk straight off the bat. So that value system is very clear. There is no hidden agenda. If a thought strikes my brain, it will eventually find its way out. I'm very clear about that. And the part of the value system is, you should not expect anybody to do what you're not ready to do yourself. That's pretty much it. Like, I keep it very simple,
So in your experience as a coach and as a professional coach and working with so many people, what are the three key traits what are the three key skills that successful people need to equip themselves with?
Okay, that's a fabulous question, Vincent. And there are not three, I would say there are 4 things. It really doesn't matter what you do, what level you are at, how good you are, nothing matters. If you can do these 4 things clearly, there is no way you can fail. And these 4 things are the ability to think with clarity, listen for potential, speak with intent, and act with purpose. And if you notice, the boss designed us exactly like this. The brain on top, hoping you would think first. Then came the ears, hoping you would listen to. Then, having thought and heard, you would speak mindfully and you would act thoughtfully. If you understand these 4 things and learn how to deliver them, you cannot fail. As simple as that.
And in your opinion, from the many people that you have worked with, are people equipped with these skills, or do they lack them, or how can we find these skills?
Now, I notice you asked me in my opinion. Whose other opinion do you want me to give you? Seriously, right? Okay. Firstly, you know what? All human beings are born with these 4 skills. These are so fundamental to who we are. The boss designed us to be complete in all respects. We stop using them. We start planning too much, thinking too much at the wrong time. And most importantly, we forget the order. Most people think and listen after they finish speaking. If you get the order right, it's good. So people have them, they stop using them for various reasons, and if you nudge them, show them the value of doing it, and that's what we do, by the way, because we help people to do these 4 things so that they become more productive and hence their companies become more profitable. That's what our company does.
So leadership is really fast becoming a very essential skill in the workplace today, and many people are thrust into leadership roles more and more often. So I would like to ask you, what are the 4 things that you feel a successful leader should do to motivate his team to achieve the results that they desire?
Oh, I just thought I finished talking about it. Okay, a successful leader needs to think with clarity, listen for potential, speak with intent, and act with purpose.
The same 4 things.
Same 4 things. And mind you brought up something really valuable. Leadership is becoming an essential skill. Leadership was always an essential skill. What is happening is, and do note this, all of us become leaders because we are good at something else. And I'll give you an example. The other day I was asked by a hospital to speak to their CEO. New guy. The CEO. So I walk in, and the minute he saw me, he said, "Oh, they sent you in because I'm quitting?" I said, "Really? Are you quitting?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, if you want, I can go away." He said, "No, since you're here, let's talk." So I sit down and I ask him, I said, "So what do you want to talk about? How to quit or whether to quit?" He said, "No, since you're here, let's talk about whether I should quit. So then I asked him, so why do you want to quit? So he says, Mukul, I'm a surgeon. I've trained all my life, almost 12 or 14 years, to operate on people. Now these guys want me to deal with people who are standing up, walking and talking. I like people flat on the back, knocked out. Right? So he was good as a surgeon, so he was asked to lead a hospital into profitability. And you look at all of us. We are all accidental leaders, barring guys like me who've been into the army or like you. We were trained in leadership while we were there. But just look around you in the corporate world. You have a guy who's great at selling stuff, so he becomes sales manager. Now he's no longer required to sell stuff. He's required to motivate people to sell it properly. So the muscle he needs to lead is not the same muscle he needs to sell. A lot of people are not able to handle this transition. They keep doing the same thing again and again because that's what got them promoted. But that's what keeps them there.
And what these people really need to do is just to practice the 4 traits that you mentioned just now. To think with clarity, to listen, to speak.
And act. But do it with intent.